Hey, here we are rolling right here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. Tom Inman, Lady Life, Ani Umana, the Prince, better known, and yours truly, Alan Branch. Today's show is brought to you by FastModelSports.com. We're in the heart of it. Some days I just love to come to work, and today is one of those days. Got plenty to talk about. We got more sports than we got show tonight. We get all we can get done in the hour period. I'm going to squeeze it in and let Tom Inman have his rant in a little bit right now before we go ahead and ranting and raving around this camp. Football, basketball, kind of hard. I mean, it doesn't really does it get a lot better than that?
No.
I mean, you can't really, there's always something to watch. Multiple channels. Go back and watch replays of games.
And it's all ramp up. It just keeps getting better and better because you get the football playoffs and then you get conference basketball.
Right, then they just drop you off a cliff.
It's already really good, and then it just keeps getting better. And then it's just like a junkie that just doesn't get his next fix. It's horrible.
Everything gets real funny, and they tease you back. We go back to the NBA thing, and then we hit the dog days of summer.
June's a weird month.
We hopefully we don't expect the Rangers to be playing well, but hopefully the Astros are making the runs they've been making, and we're trying to get back around to it again. So are we basically a football and basketball show waiting for football and basketball, watching baseball till football, basketball come back again with summer basketball?
That's about right.
Is that about right?
Willing to fill the gaps with other crap. But basically, yeah.
That's where we are. Okay.
Wow, I just slammed a lot of things, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Sorry about calling everything else but basketball and football crap, right? Sorry about that.
Back before we brought all these people on, we used to do a little golf, and we used to bring in people to talk about.
We had some good golfers from Texas. Jordan Spieth had been playing as well lately and stuff, and hadn't been as big of a deal. He was big for a while.
Yeah, we get around. And just, it's just kind of one of those things. Maybe we do more of that stuff in the spring of the year when football's not around. I mean, we're in Texas. I mean, what do you expect? This is the whole deal, but it is what it is. I learned something this weekend. I didn't learn something. I proved something this weekend. I hear all you guys talking about, defense can't win, and there comes the Commissioner Cox in. If we don't let Commissioner Cox roll in, Commissioner Cox roll in and roll out all at the same time.
Hey, Cox, if you're watching the show, he just did that on purpose. He's acting like it was a technological mistake. He jacked you right there, man. I don't talk to his ass.
But we're going to roll in there while we get ready to see if we can get Commissioner Cox going in here.
No party is complete until Commissioner Cox is here.
What's up?
Okay, there he is. There he is, Commissioner Cox. Cox, I'm getting ready to say something. I'm glad you called in because you have to listen to this to it. Cox has known me for a lot of years.
He's blowing smoke up your rear
Cox
end.
has probably known me for 38, 39 years. That's crazy. You know that?
Long enough to know better, Cox.
Yeah.
We going back to 77.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. How about that?
Yeah. Back when we all had hair.
Cox was a little boy around the corner.
We all had hair and no bellies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we made a real swap, didn't we? We made a serious swap. But one of the things that I learned something. Or I shouldn't say I learned it because I've always been a big proponent of possession, time of possession. And that was what I learned from the Dallas Cowboy game. I verified it, or I have another legitimate high-level test that shows you the power of the possession of the ball.
Well, you can score without it, but for the most part, you can't.
Yeah, right.
Without the ball, you're on.
If you don't turn it over, and you don't allow the other team to have it, then you are defending them.
Right.
Without your defense.
Well, you can play offensive defense or defensive defense.
Yeah, you can play defensive defense, which is defensive defense, but you're going to be better off with long possessions because you can only play defensive defense for so long before fatigue starts to kick in.
Well, see, that's why my argument about the pass-heavy league is that makes it harder and harder to do because when you can run the ball and you can control the ground game like the Cowboys can, late in the game with the lead, you can control it, you can minimize it, and shorten it.
There's a whole lot of ways of shortening the game and controlling the ball. And what you saw the University of Texas in a game that a lot of people say on paper maybe they shouldn't have been in,
Right.
They were, I think, 12-point dogs going into the game with supposedly one of the most high-powered collegiate offenses. Would that be right, Cox, in college football right now?
One of them. Yeah, definitely one of them.
Definitely one of the three most high-powered offenses. I mean, we know Alabama does a good job, of scoring the ball and running points. But they showed. I mean, Texas was in the game all the way down to the wire. Yeah, there's some Red River 2 involved in the whole process, but I mean, Oklahoma should have had the edge on that after getting beat in the original Red River game. So you can't really say that. But then you turn back around. Would we say that the New Orleans Saints potentially one of the most potent offenses in the NFL right now, along with Kansas City and the NFC? Cox, Commissioner Cox.
New Orleans is definitely a potent offense.
Definitely a potent offense.
It's a very potent offense with a lot of weapons. You could tell though. They need that other receiver, and I think
Yeah, but that was the whole reason.
Brandon Marshall will be there next week, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, that was the whole reason for bringing down. I mean, and we can scream injuries and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys had the ball 16 minutes longer than New Orleans had.
Well, and one thing the Cowboys did to Drew Brees, they did something. I remember when I was a kid, I loved Joe Montana, and someone used to say, "How do you stop Jerry Rice?" And people said, "You can't stop Jerry Rice." So yeah, you can. You can knock Joe Montana on his ass. And Drew Brees is a great quarterback, but Drew Brees is not a great quarterback when he's laying down and when he's sped up. No, Tom Brady himself, when you speed Tom Brady up, he's pretty average.
Tom Brady is one of those guys that guys traditionally did a really good job on. By dealing with him that way,
you got to get the Cowboys credit complete.
But the one thing we got to talk about too is that we control the ball. They had a horrible game, but with all that control, 7 points.
Yep. Well,
with all that control,
it's already been called. I mean,
I predicted that. We were talking a little while ago, Cox, and I said my prediction on what Cox is going to say is, well, the defense was awesome, which they were, but 13 points ain't never going to beat the really good teams. You can't beat any of the good teams with. I shouldn't say any. It'll be very difficult for you to beat the really good teams in the playoffs by winning scoring 13.
How many touchdown passes did Dak Prescott miss on? I know 2 for sure.
2. I know 2.
I'm talking about wide open, nobody else closing.
Wide open, nobody there.
And most college quarterbacks can make that throw.
Well, it's not about it. He can make the throw. I mean,
I can make the throw. When it doesn't matter.
But the point is that do you have the poise and the
in the moment,
the in the moment goobers? Some people are great shooters.
Warm-ups and they don't shoot well in the game. Yeah,
they don't shoot well in the game. And
the biggest thing happened. I seen happen this week is that, and I'm not sure exactly how you word it, but I think the word salvageable. Dak Prescott is well above that.
I call it serviceable.
The Cowboy team is well above serviceable. The question is now, what we're looking at is they're not a player or 2 away. They're a coach away. They're a coach or 2 away. I'm not sure if it's a player or 2 away anymore. I think they may be a coach away.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of hate what's happening in a way. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm bashing Jason Garrett and I want him to lose his job, and I don't really want him to lose his job. I just don't think he's very good. And at the end of the day, some of these wins.
He's not very great.
Well, but if you want Super Bowls, then you need great because good ain't winning Super Bowls. But he's like a Band-Aid. These wins are like a little Jason Garrett Band-Aid. It's just enough that you don't see the wound anymore. And
he was coach until they fired McCartney this week. That right there set the tone.
Well, that's true. If a stable organization like them is doing it, what could happen with an unstable? Can't say unstable guy like Jerry. Well, I almost said that.
It's just. I sent out to the group, and Coach, you got to get you in the group. McCartney's firing is the beginning. Is the beginning of what organizations do that want to win championships.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, they don't wait around for the end of the year
right
just
now.
because it's comfortable or because it looks good for
Well,
organizational stability.
Well, they fire guys when it doesn't matter anymore. Once you get to the point.
Hey, when you're 5-19 in Chicago, Fred Hoiberg got hacked. He just at 5-19, you probably should get fired.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
there you go. Potentially one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Well, definitely one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
So, are you saying that his firing then ramps up the heat again on Garrett? Is that what you're saying, Cox?
I don't see how it could not.
Oh, I agree. I do. I'm just trying to clarify.
I mean, not on just Garrett, but
everybody.
It's just sent a ripple throughout the league. I mean, Jay Gruden is on. I mean, dead man walking, as AB talks about.
Well, exactly. And thing about dead men can walk until they walk. Depending on how long their gang plank is. The thing is on that dead man walking. All that means is in college sports is, and I guess it's the same in professional level, is that he has so much on his contract that we are done with him. But we're going to let him cycle himself out until he gets this money down to a payable, dismiss you, and we don't mind writing a check.
Right.
And I think Gruden's check is still a little.
Oh, they're not cutting him loose.
Right. You can't afford to cut him. I mean, I would say you can't afford, but I mean, you can't. I mean, they could.
It's a big hit.
It's a big hit. It's a bigger hit than they are probably willing to take.
Well, one thing.
Because it is business.
Hey, Cox, this reminds me of a funny story. When I got fired at Plano, like 18 months after we won state, it was really funny because one of my buddies said something to a guy in a bar. He said, whether you like him or don't like him, this ought to send a chill down your spine because you might want to laugh and everything, but if they'll fire him, what might they do to you? And along those same lines, McCarthy won a Super Bowl. After 13 years, they fired him. What might they do to you?
It's a what has done for. I mean, what have you done for me lately?
Scenario.
Yeah, I mean, nobody remembers. I mean, that people don't have long-term memories. It's cool that you've won. That's the reason we got you here, and that's good. Now, what's next?
It's a production-based business.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about this Urban Meyer situation and what is his legacy. Mix a little of that back in. We're going to dive back in on the Cowboys and take a solid look at the playoff situation and how all that looks. And there are 2 routes, pretty much to the playoffs and what is satisfaction in the playoffs. But you guys right here on the Lone Star Sports Show. We got Commissioner Controversial Cox right here in Oak Cliff, Texas, by way of Mansfield, Texas, giving it to us like it is. My main man, Tom Inman. Lady Life, the Prince Under Your Money, and yours truly, Alan Branch. This particular segment was brought to you by Hardham Hotels. Go take a look and a listen and see how Hardham Hotels can give you a place to put your money while you're asleep. Back in 180 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show.
Hardham Hotels. Make money where you and millions of others spend money. Hardham Hotels Investment and Development Group's primary disciplines include hotel acquisitions, hotel development, hotel project management, as well as asset and partnership management. At Hardham Hotels, we invest in upscale focused service and extended stay hotel properties, mainly in Texas and other major urban markets. We are hotel owners, developers, investors, and asset managers persistent in our pursuit of successful ventures and passionate about our products. We provide nationally branded investment opportunities, including Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt hotel franchises. Hardham Hotels strategically places the right product in the right location for the right customer. Get started with us today. Visit us online at www.hardhamhotels.com. Hardham Hotels, put your money where you sleep.
Hey, here we are back here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. Today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. We are doing it like it's supposed to be done right here. All things sports, all things Texas. We got Commissioner Controversial Cox right out of Mansfield, Texas, every Tuesday right here during the NFL season. He's our resident expert that comes in and gives us some really legitimate, backed up with facts type perspective on football in the state of Texas as it pertains to our Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans. Tom Inman, retired champion, Plano High School, 2006 UIL 5A champion. Lady Life putting us where we need to be. Money the Prince out on break, back on the set here in another 2 or 3 minutes. And yours truly, Alan Branch. Big deal, we can't ignore it. Got to intervene and kind of stick this into our Cowboy NFL things going on. Urban Meyer, a successful collegiate coach, we can say, with some questionable situations and hires. He had roughly 30 guys to get arrested in 3 years down in Florida. Well, that's kind of normal. Brothers get arrested on a regular basis down in Florida, especially if they play ball.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm not going to include this in my rant. This can't be taken away from my rant time. He knew that Aaron Hernandez shot a dude. He knew this in a car in Florida and didn't do diddly shit about it. So I ain't got no empathy for him whatsoever. And besides, if Urban Meyer hadn't been so successful, they would have let him go. Like what they're doing with Kevin Ollie up at UConn. They found a way to weasel out of his contract. Man, if that guy was 6-5, they would have been going in a different direction.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it makes me sick.
It is, but the hypocrisy of the whole thing is that we want to point the fingers and make these guys out of martyrs and human sacrifice type people, because that's the nature of the business. Win at all costs. I mean, am I pushing the envelope too hard?
Well, no, Cox, I quote us all the time when I talk about 95% of fired coaches get fired for not winning enough, not for cheating.
Yeah, I mean that's all.
Yeah, I mean that's the business.
That's the business.
I mean, Urban Meyer's in a tough business. He's a 1%er.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, you are a 1%er.
Yeah.
Winners. I mean, to get a head coaching job in high school is tough enough.
Mm-hmm.
To be a winner in high school is even tougher. So, Coach, you're 1% of the 1%ers. Yeah. Urban Meyer even makes even smaller of that percentage.
Right.
So there's a lot of pressure that goes with that. And unfortunately, when it comes down to those departures, very seldom, very, very seldom is it always on a good note.
I mean, how
many coach users do we really get to be able to walk away on your own? How many Robert Hugheses do we really get an opportunity to really walk away the way you want to on your own terms?
Well, I didn't finish as strong at GP as we did at Plano, but that was one of my biggest considerations, was because I got run out the back door at Plano, and I told them, I said, it was really important for me to be able to say I want to leave when I want to leave.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole deal when you left Plano, and I'm going to go put it out here, and I hope it's not offensive.
I don't matter.
It had nothing to do with win and lose. It was personal.
Right. It was all stupid stuff.
Yeah.
If it would have mattered, I couldn't have got another job.
There was a personal agenda. Right, exactly. And we just don't, like we won, and they want to do a different direction. Had nothing to do with winning and losing.
Well, if they had any courage, they'd say that instead of hiding behind their
they're not. They don't have any.
Hiding behind your chicken shit skirt, Gerald Brents.
That's the whole.
I hope you're watching, you redneck.
Coach, were you at Plano at the time when the gentleman who used to coach at SMU's son was playing there as well?
Yeah, Nate Christian. Yeah, he played on that state championship team. Dean's son.
Mm-hmm. I know Dean real well.
Yeah. Dean was at he was at SMU for a while with who did he come in with? Mike DeMent, I think.
He was at Dartmouth. No,
he was at Dartmouth. No. He was at Air Force Prep.
He was at Air Force, but he came to SMU with Coach. Come on, the ex-Kimball coach.
Mike DeMent.
No.
Oh, Jimmy Tubbs.
Jimmy Tubbs. That's who he was with.
And then when he left, he got out of college. When all that mess happened over there, he went up to McKinney North.
No, he went to Dartmouth. After SMU.
Coach, I don't want anybody to get delusional. Urban Meyer's leaving. There's a lot of stress. Things didn't go the way he wanted to go this year. Urban Meyer is not through coaching.
No. Well, he made it very, very clear. I forgot exactly how he put it. I can't see myself right now.
He always leaves wiggle room, because the first time when he left Florida, I said the same thing.
But I mean, okay, you retired.
Gruden said he couldn't see himself do it again.
I couldn't see.
And then $100 million later, all of a sudden he's
because based on the state of my mind and emotions and my family situation and my financial situation, I can't see myself doing this every day. It's rough.
Urban Meyer.
You were going to ask me what terms I would do it under.
Yeah, I mean, wait, okay, you retired. Okay, you retired with a winning coach, winning percentage. Now.
You're going to love my answer. Go ahead. I've already thought about this before.
Right. Yeah. The whole deal is, would you coach again? I mean, you retired, so is this something, could you change your mind?
Okay, either I teach very little or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
you got to pay me at least $100,000 minimum, and I will not even speak to a football coach.
Well, you need the Duncanville job.
No, if I could have that, that'd be fine. Oh, and I don't go to staff meetings and none of that bullshit.
Yeah,
but I mean, if I could, it's like a smorgasbord job.
The only thing about the Duncanville job now, you do have to talk to coach, the football coach.
I ain't talking to football coaches. Football coaches are all assholes.
But Samples wouldn't be a bad guy to talk to.
No, I have no problem with Reggie, but I'm just telling you, they're all cut from the same cloth. I don't give a damn. At the end of the day, they're all cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, they say the same
thing
about y'all.
I know, I don't give a shit. But they can fire us, and we can't fire them. So move to Chicago where the AD's. Hold on, let me rant for a second. Move to Chicago where the AD is the basketball coach, and we'll fire your football coaching ass.
But over at Duncanville, the football coach is not the AD.
He's not the AD.
And the AD is still wet behind his ears. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They brought him in from what, Marshall?
Well,
that's like peacemaker kind of between him and Kathy.
Yeah, they got two AD. They got a basketball AD, and then they have Kathy.
Oh, they got all kinds of.
Kathy's the real AD over here. That's who I respect around there. Coach Self, how you doing today? Good to see you. How's it going this year? Anything I can help you with?
That's a hard enough job if you know who your boss is. That's a really hard job when you don't know who your boss is.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't know why you could get fired.
Yeah, you don't know who you're pissing off, or you don't know if you're pissing multiple people off.
Anybody that's over at Duncanville High School is confused about that process. They need to have a visit with me for about 2 minutes.
Hey, you want to hear a funny story? I talked to Rob McQuaid, one of my old friends, right?
Yep, he's AD over there.
Oh, I love Rob. And that's Matt's dad. Mm-hmm. And I said, if I would have walked up to you when Matt was coming in high school and I would have said to you, you're at a casino in Vegas, what kind of odds would you give me that Matt will have 4 coaches in 4 years? He said, Tommy, I would have given you $1 billion to 1. I said, and I would have broke your damn bank. Because there was one coach there for 39 years. Then they had 4 coaches in 4 years. At one point in time, McDade's last year was Matt's first year.
Right.
Then it was Danny Henderson for 1. Then it was Kenny Bourne for 1. And then it was
Matt was a top 15 kid as an incoming freshman. I saw Matt at camp as a 9th grader. Liked him a whole lot.
The problem with Duncanville is that they want to win now, and nothing happens overnight.
No.
So at any level,
any level, it's a huge deal. But we got off on a little bit of a tangent there, and so I think Urban Meyer was a successful football coach that had some compromising situations.
I think he quit because he couldn't beat Saban.
I think you're right.
Right. There was nothing else to accomplish other than beating Saban.
Can I be cynical for a second? Let's hypothetically say that in somewhere between 6 and 18 months, Nick Saban retires at Alabama. You want to bet Urban Meyer suddenly feels a lot better?
I think that would be the toughest job in football to take, and I think most people wouldn't want anything to do with being.
The first guy to follow is the bad job. The second guy's okay.
Yeah.
You want to be the guy that follows the guy.
You got to have.
You don't want to follow the guy. You want to be the guy who follows the guy who follows the guy.
Right, but somebody have to have.
Who wants to follow Jason Garrett?
Oh, that's easy. All you got to do is be above average. It's easy, but you got to work for Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well,
and that may be the cap. You may have a glass ceiling on average because of Jerry. You may only be able to be average.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. How do the Cowboys make the playoffs?
Well,
we obviously win, but
we have to win out. I mean, we have to win out. We have to somehow.
Yeah.
We have to win out, and we need the Eagles not to be owned.
Well, I was just getting ready to say I watched the Eagles yesterday and I bet on them, and I don't think they're a great team, but they're better than they were, and they're a different team.
They're a good team.
The Cowboys got to be concerned if they think that they got to be careful they don't have a New Orleans Saints hangover going into Sunday because they might get their ass kicked.
The game after the game is always
you always got to be careful.
A tough situation.
It's a natural trap.
It's a natural
trap.
Nature of the business. I mean, we just there's no way to get around that. Whether you like it, love it, whatever you want to call it.
Coach, my biggest concern is how do we cover if we take a loss right now. How do we respond to it?
Yeah.
How do we respond right now as a team when the pressure is on? Right now we're in the driver's seat. Right now everything's looking pretty good. Everything's soft. I mean, Alex Smith got a leg broke. Redskins went from the top to the bottom. I mean, there's a lot of things right now going our way. But how do we look? How do we look when we get a little pressure?
Well, here's a good example of exactly what you're saying, Cox. If you look at the next 2 games, Eagles-Colts, let's say they go 1-1 instead of 2-0. So now the pressure's on. Can't drive a toothpick up their ass with a sledgehammer. What might happen would probably be in the snow. It's a ground game type of game, and the Giants aren't very good. And they beat my Bears, but they're not very good, but they're good enough. Well, that's the kind of game that you could fold up like a tent under.
We're looking for every way for the Cowboys to roll over and go
No, I'm
dead.
not saying that. I'm just asking because he's saying what will happen if
No,
they,
that's,
if they
I'm the one that
struggle.
said it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing that on him. I'm just saying you may be right. If they lose one of these next two, it may come down to the situation where they've got to beat a pissed off Jameis Winston or Jameis Winston, or you got to go out and beat New York in the cold. I don't know. Not a very good road team. They don't play in the cold.
No, but I mean that Giant game makes me nervous.
I know. It made me nervous the other day because Chase Daniel's not very good.
Well,
and the Bears are pretty good, and the Cowboys are pretty good, but the Giants are just good enough.
If you win two of the next four, then you're in a situation. You win three of the next four, then you win it outright because your schedule. If it comes down to a divisional situation, now you are up against it with the Eagles. But the Eagles don't have a walk in the park type situation either, and I don't know why I can't grab my stuff like I want to on the computer.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, I have a way I like to look at it. And, embarrassingly so.
Well, but if you lose the Eagles in the Giants game and win the Colts in the Buccaneers game, you might get screwed over on the interdivisional.
Well, this is the problem. The Eagles got to turn around after they play us. Mm-hmm. The Eagles, they have to go play the.
They got to play the Rams and the Texans.
And then come back
and play the Redskins again. Right, Yeah.
So in the Eagles' mind, they're trying to go 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford to lose this first one, or otherwise they got to go 3-0 against a brutal schedule.
If they lose to the Cowboys right now, they got to win out.
Right.
You got to play the Rams, then you got to play Houston.
That's a tough win out, right?
The Eagles are right now saying, I got to beat the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got to either beat the Rams or I got to beat Houston.
Hey,
well, I mean, the situation is they're one game ahead of them, so you're in the situation. So if the Cowboys go to 9, let's knock it down to a NFC East. This is how we're gonna get our playoff, guys. It has nothing to do with overall. We're just talking about NFC East. The Cowboys are one game ahead. There's 4 games left for both deals. It's mathematically there. If the Cowboys win 2. If the Cowboys win 2 and they win 2, then it comes back to another situation on the head up. Then you have a situation on who was the best in the conference. And we're going to come back after the break. They're trying to rush me out of here to the break. But we're going to come back and chop it up some more. But mathematically, I mean, could the Cowboys just roll over and die? I mean, they could, but come on now. My main man always says, come on, man. The wide receiver. Lone Star Sports.
Come on, man.
Yeah, there you go. Lone Star Sports Show right here. We got Commissioner Cox, straight out of Mansfield, Texas. Controversial Cox, they like to call him, down the cigar shop, where there's always a different angle, a different way to look at it. We're looking at it real, real hard right here on the Lone Star Sports Show. My main man, Tom Inman, the champ. Lady Life, keeping us where we need to be. Only the Prince and yours truly, Alan Brandt. We're back with more Lone Star Sports Show here shortly. This particular segment was brought to you by FastModelSports.com. Right back at you in 180 seconds. All things sports, all things Texas. Hey, here we are back here at the Lone Star Sports Show. Today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. All things sports, all things Texas. They're leading sports and basketball into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. Go look at FastSmallSports.com. Tom Emlin, Alan Branch, Lady Life, Under Your Money, the Prince, and yours truly, the main man, Controversial Cox, leading us always in the first hour, hot on this Dallas Cowboy NFL season. Has a true perspective, works at it, and usually has a reasonable amount of credibility that he can substantiate on a regular basis, just with a little taste of controversy. Cox, you were going at it real hard right there when we were in the middle of the break. Sometimes our breaks are better shows than the show.
Definitely more X-rated or R-rated, one or the other.
Coach, it doesn't matter at our age. Whichever one, we take it.
Hey, I don't even care anymore. That's one of the best parts about retirement.
Exactly.
Like I've got don't give a damn itis.
You let that automatic deposit come back wrong, boy. TRS gonna hear about it.
Hey, B, the bottom line to this thing is we've got to win, but there's nothing. I'm just worried about our ability to just recover. You know, you got to be able to take some punches and be able to come back. And we're not. There yet.
I think one of the things is not looked at right now, and I don't know if I totally agree with you there, because one thing I consistently hear here is, you know who the offensive leader of this team is? Ezekiel Elliott. He looks you right dead in the eye, and he's accountable for, we got to get this done. And I think he pulls Dak along and knows that this is all we got. And I realize what he is, and I realize what he ain't. It's kind of like having
He's a game manager.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like having one of those cars that man, don't mash on it that hard. It might run hot on you. You keep this booger right here at 55, and you're going to make it where you're going. But you start trying to do too much with it, then you might be on the side of the road.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. And he realizes, you look at the effort. Let's give Ezekiel Elliott credit. You look at the effort that he gives, second effort. They don't talk about yards after contact nearly like they did when they first came up with the acronym. But I think it's still a very, very valuable way to measure the whole yak. The yards after catch, yards after contact, however you want to look at it. Those are things that measure effort. And if you want to talk about winning.
And toughness.
Yeah, well, toughness comes with giving you that's effort. Yeah, the one and same to a certain extent, but that's the way you can measure it. And I don't think there are many running backs that are. First of all, he's a top 3 or 4 running back in the league, but I don't think there's anybody that brings it more than he does. He'll turn and drop a shoulder. He'll spin. He'll step. He showed you he'd hurdle a dude to keep on going. That dude would have kept his feet on that run. We'd still be talking about that. Scored a touchdown. But, so I think that there's enough substance here and there in that situation that I don't think that they just roll over and just punk out. I don't see that. Anything can happen.
Coach, I'm going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, when I know Roy Snoop Johnson gives me the blues and says I'm a Dak hater, I think right now it's been easy to be wide open and loose because there wasn't a lot of pressure to get it done. Everybody was like, we started off so bad, man, let's just try to salvage a season.
No, well, I think there's a little bit of that. There's a one game at a time.
Now, that's Garrett's philosophy. It's always one game at a time when that's the expectation. But all of a sudden, the expectation is to get to the playoffs and win.
Well,
and I think that the pressure, we're going to see the real Dak Prescott Sunday. We're going to see the real Dak Prescott Sunday, and you're going to have to score more than 13 points.
Okay, we were 13-3 this rookie year, right or wrong?
Yeah,
that's correct. Right, 13-3 this rookie year. What Dak Prescott was that?
That was a Dak Prescott that had a good Des Bryant and a Jason Witten. That's Dak Prescott.
And a Dak Prescott
line
that no one even knew who he was.
Yeah, he snuck up on people, right?
Well, they knew who he was because he was rated. There's a deal. He just didn't have the game tape for them to evaluate him on, but they knew who he was, and they knew who he was and who he wasn't because they chose not to draft him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the whole. The deal comes down. You don't have the NFL game tape on him, but going 13-3 during the course of that period, it was identified who he was. I just feel like, and I hope my listeners will forgive me. I don't recall exactly where the play calling was. I know what was going on. There was
same people, Coach.
Same people, but they weren't doing the same job. They were treating him like he was a rookie quarterback. Now they want to treat him like he's a 8-year Hall of Fame quarterback. And you put him in
they
a lot
gave the keys too quick to Romo, and now they're doing the same thing with Dak.
People just get so excited, but that's that instant gratification. I mean, Cox and I were talking today. I mean, we live in a world of instant gratification and unrealistic expectations.
Hey, you guys remember what Aaron Rodgers did for the first 4 years of his career? He wore a baseball cap, he held a clipboard, and he got blown off by Brett Favre. And got 0 reps at practice, got treated like a dog, and somehow he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he's one of the 3 best anyway. Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, we always want it. But the thing about it is that I think we fail to realize. I heard it said best today by one of the collegiate football analysts, and was talking about why would Urban Meyer choose to do an NFL stint versus not. Do you realize that when you at Ohio State, Alabama, that
that's an NFL job.
Yeah, but you have more talent. You have more talent on your team. And the disparity or the separation of talent on your team, you're selecting your own groceries to do it the way you want to do it. Now the general manager and owner's not in the way. You're deciding who you want to play and who you don't want to play. And the separation is so much clearer at that level that if you play 10, 12 games in a collegiate season, 8 of the people that you walk on the football field
have no shot at beating you.
Had no shot at beating you. And
Alabama could send the first home. Leave all your 1s at home. Just bring the 2s and 3s and beat the crap out of most everybody.
Yeah, right. Until they get ready to play.
But there's a culture there. There's a culture there that's created there by the coach and by the people that this coach is constantly. When he had to, Saban has done a great job of not only replacing talent each year, but replacing coaches as they progress and get jobs elsewhere.
And the ability to get talent to have patience.
Well, Coach, but people don't just do that.
Tua did play by Jalen, and Jalen played by Tua.
People don't just do that, Coach, just because you're Alabama. People do that because there's some things that you've proven at Alabama to make them feel comfortable about.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right down the line exactly what it is. You've proven you can deliver the league, high level.
You can deliver it.
Yeah, you can deliver the league.
You can deliver it, Coach. I can go to North Carolina and Duke and wait a year because you've proven that you can deliver. Coach, nobody in Dallas Cowboy organization has delivered a playoff win.
Yeah.
So we haven't delivered a playoff win. Our head coach had to deliver a playoff win. Our owners haven't. I think it's a lot of pressure. I think Dak is still going to be Dak. I hope we can, I think if we get in the playoffs, then, you roll the dice. But right now, Coach, we got to get out of the regular season.
Here's the question: is Dak trending up or is he trending down?
I say neutral, like buy, sell, hold. I'm saying hold. I don't think he's getting better or worse, but I think the problem is going to come is the pressure's going to mount, and if you do make the playoffs, then you don't have any shitty teams anymore. There's no more bad teams. Then you don't, you have to play against people.
So you're saying that the Cowboys, Dak has only performed well against or been able to win against bad teams?
I didn't say it. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well,
I said
as you get to the playoffs,
tighter, it's going to play better teams.
When you get to the playoffs, you're playing the better end of the team.
But you don't even know what team you're beating during the season who's going to be a playoff team anyway.
Well, you remember I told you guys that the Cowboys had top 32 teams, 8. They had top 8 teams in the league type talent. They just don't have top. They were in the bottom end of the bottom 8 in production and bottom next to the bottom 8, bottom 16 in production and decision making and coaching and things of that nature. The ability to execute. They've proven it. I mean, they have quality people and quality positions. They made a great decision bringing Amari Cooper in. The Cowboys are missing really. You like to have one more season strong safety. Free safety, that safety position is some question anymore, and they don't have a legitimate tight end option.
But to me, none of that still corrects the 2 biggest problems you have, which is Jason Garrett's utter predictability and Dak Prescott's infamous inaccuracies. Because at the end of the day, you've got to be able to make that throw to progress, and everyone's going to give him a pass and say he's a nice guy because he is a nice guy.
AB,
but
when
he
you
can't
look
throw
at
a ball in a
1-foot
box.
league, you're right. bottom line, Coach, you can't win. Now, one thing that they've done, they make us all excited, but there's a window when you get young players. There's a 2 to 5 year window.
3 to 5.
This is Dak's third year.
Right.
Okay. So Dak's got another. It's always going to be, oh, they're young. Oh, they're this. Oh, give them this. Oh, give them that. Aaron Rodgers would love to have the line that Dak Prescott had and the running back.
But you got to be careful because that line is aging out too as we talk. I'm not saying that they're old, but everyone's getting old. All of us.
At the end of the game, who are we playing in the playoffs? That at the end of the game, if the quarterback was the one to win it, we would take Dak Prescott over that quarterback. We're in the NFC East right now. We're in the NFC East. Our competition in the East, Prescott or Wentz.
Wentz. Prescott.
If we go to the NFC North right now for its playoff teams, you got the Bears, the Vikings are in there. I mean, who are you going to take? You go to the NFC South.
Dak or Trubisky?
You go to the NFC South, you're not picking Dak over any of these guys that are going to be in the playoffs. The Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. You go to the NFC West, you're not going to pick him over Russell Wilson, the Rams, no doubt. If it's an AFC, what game do we say Dak go win it? Every one of these teams who win a championship, Nick Foles, the guy who was supposed to be the joke, goes and becomes the MVP of the Super Bowl to let you know that he was just not running the system. He had to make big plays and big throws.
All right, but you just define what the real biggest problem with the whole franchise is, which is Jerry, because Jerry really believes that Dak is a $100 million quarterback, and they're going to lock him down.
I mean,
who
said Jerry believes that?
Jerry said it. He's going to bring. He said, "I'm going to sign him. I'm extending him no matter what. He will be extended.
He will be.
You go look that one up. He will be extended."
Jerry is going to sign Dak Prescott to $100 million because the world said he shouldn't, and Jerry's going to do it.
I'll show you. It's my money.
I'll show you. It's my money. I'm going to do what I want to do. And Cowboy fans, get ready.
You guys are going to get held hostage for the next 4 years.
Exactly.
Jerry's
going to sign him. Jerry's going to sign him because everyone has said he shouldn't, and he's going to show you.
We're going to come back and hit these Cowboys one more time. We come back from break. We're going to talk about, the line of scrimmage situation. Are the Cowboys actually winning it at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball? That's one of Alan Branch's perspectives on this whole thing. And then we're also going to spend the next segment. We wind down on football based on the fact of how hot are the Texans. Lone Star Sports Show right here on the Lone Star Sports Network. This particular segment was brought to you by Hardham Hotels. Hardham Hotels is located in the Houston area, constantly expanding across the Texas deal. 2 new hotels being built as we speak. Go look at HardhamHotels.com and see how you can put your money where you sleep. Back with my main man, controversial Commissioner Cox, Lady Life, the Prince, Under Your Money, the champ, Tom Inman, and yours truly, Alan Branch. Right back. right back here at the Lone Star Sports Show, talking about the antiquated ways of the Dallas Cowboys at the break. If you want to get a little taste of it, no computers, still talking on landlines, don't like talking on cell phones. I mean, controversial Cox put them out there real bad. I don't know the truth of all that matter, but I do know that Jerry wants to do it his way, and he's egotistical enough. And ego's not bad. I have one, you know. And it was kind of like it was said in a meeting of operators I was talking today. All of us have egos. That's what makes us what we are. We didn't have an ego. We couldn't be successful. With competition, being competitive or finding competitive environments to work in. I mean, all of us could be doing something different than sports.
Well, your strengths are your weaknesses if you don't moderate them.
Yeah, right. That's true. I mean, that's what the whole deal is. But at the end of the day, there's I mean, it is what it is. But here's the point. One of the things that whenever I'm watching football, Cox, you know, and you can take it for whatever it's worth, I always watch the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage, in my opinion, denotes the outcome of the play. You know, that first snap and those first 1 to 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds, it's the moving, it's the missed block, it's the breaking down, it's the interruption of what's going on is going to dictate the opportunity and how that play is going to progress. It's probably one of the more boring places to watch a game, but it's one of the biggest indicators to watch a game. I feel that the Dallas Cowboys are so stable on the line of scrimmage that it allows them to be a lot better football team than people want to give them credit for.
Well, I just think there's a really big distinction, and this is not being a hater, but there are two different ways you block, obviously, run block, pass block. Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, the rule of thumb is you can have big, thick ankle road graders who just run downhill and run block like a big dog like these guys do. They're great, but they don't set up well because most of the better pass blockers are the more athletic guys who have better feet. And I'm just saying that what happens is when –
and I'm also talking back on the defensive side of things.
The defensive side, they get downhill so quick. They're awesome. I ain't got no beef with that.
Yeah,
but on the offensive end, you've got to be able to block both ways, and it creates problems.
And that's what it comes down to. On at the end of the day, you got to kind of play to your strength. We always like to say, play to your strength. But the whole deal is that we all want, and I think that's the biggest problem with fans right now. We all want, if it's not Alabama and Nick Saban just beating the hell out of everybody, then it just doesn't float our boat. And the reality of it is, you don't get those dynasty-type situations. I mean, even like Golden State right now, everybody's all freaked out because, this or that. And, it's almost like if you don't have one team beating the hell out of everybody else, then, or you're not any good until you beat the hell out of everybody else, at this deal. And I just think there's enough parity and talent and, and things in place right now in the NFL, even with your New England Patriots. I mean, they're good. The Chiefs, could be the winningest team in where the Rams are actually 11-1. Both of those teams but they're not invincible.
Yeah, but the one thing that I think we all agreed on this, we talked about it before, was that if you take the game of football, what do you get, like 12 or 13 possessions a game? Is that roughly? How many possessions do you get in a football game?
Oh, no, you're in
how many times should you have the ball? I don't even know.
Oh,
I'm not as
possessions.
Like in basketball, it's 70 possessions a game. Yeah, how many times will you have the ball?
No, they're in the 70 and 80 possessions, right? Yeah.
But how many times will you have the ball? Not number of plays, but like how many drives.
Oh, depending on how long you stay, that's directly correlated to third down conversions, right?
Well, I guess that's true. It's,
right.
Yeah, it's hard to differentiate. Okay.
Right. Yeah, but it comes pretty close. I know what you're asking. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of more like about 8 to 9.
Right. And so what happens is, if you want to look at it in possessions, or if you want to look at it in terms of plays, most of them cancel each other out. And at the end, you've got about 5, 6, 7 plays that somebody's just got to make a great play. And I think if Zeke has to make that great play and it's a downhill run, yes, no problem. But when it's a road grader line setting up the pass block with a notoriously inaccurate guy in a big play in a tight window, I like you said, I'm not taking him over the other guy ever. I would have taken him over Colt McCoy the other day. I mean, if you just blocked everyone's name out and watched their throws, accuracy of their throws, I think most people would have taken McCoy.
I don't know. Y'all got Cox muted out. Cox, they handling you wrong. I had nothing to do with that over there.
Oh, he's lying again, man.
People.
You see his nose grow?
The problem, coach, is that we can win in the line of scrimmage, but we can only win at the line of scrimmage when we're going downhill.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When they go back,
all these zone blocking, that's not the strength of this offensive line. Our offensive line looks bad when we start trying to do things that they're not built around having that strength for.
Yeah, trickery.
Right.
That's the problem. So even we giving Dak enough time to get the ball quickly out when he needs to. Amari Cooper runs great routes. He's a good receiver, but he didn't just become great. Some of these other guys, Coach, the people that he missed for touchdowns were not Amari Cooper.
He missed the Gallup kid, and he missed did he miss Gallup twice?
Yeah,
he
missed Gallup twice
for touchdowns.
Yeah, for touchdowns. That's what right. Feel bad too, that kid really need those touchdowns.
That kid really needs them. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, we just got to push. I just hope coach is ready. This is a big game this week. We just need to come out firing rockets.
One thing I admire about Commissioner Cox, controversial Cox, no matter how frustrated he gets, no matter how real he tells it, no matter how he lays his opinion out there,
he's still loyal.
He still says we.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm the same way with the Bears. I'm embarrassed we lost to New York, but we're still we.
Y'all lost to New York.
We suck. Hey, I like Chase Daniels, but he ain't a starter quarter.
Chase Daniels lost to the Giants.
Oh, yeah. My Bears, I'm not worried. I ain't tripping on that because, I mean, if it was a one-game lead in the conference, I think Trubisky would have played anyway. If it was,
Coach AB, we need to talk about two things next week, I'm sure. One is the Redskins goes out. Colt McCoy.
They bring the other Mark Sanchez. I played it in there. Yeah.
They talked with Kaepernick and said they don't think they're going to do it. Coach, at some point, look at some of these quarterbacks in the league. Are we serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. The butt fumble played last night. We had to play butt fumble Mark Sanchez, right? Yeah. And you got Nathan Peterman still kicking around the league. Jesus, give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I gotta say it. I know it's not a high level point anymore. Everybody kind of let it go already. My man still doesn't have a job.
That's part of my rant. No Kaepernick after all this crap. You got so many bad quarterbacks in this league. How many bad quarterbacks? Sam Bradford. Oh my God.
You got 32 teams, 64 quarterbacks, and he out of the 64 quarterbacks that we're going to consider first and second backups, 64 quarterbacks, he's clearly better. He's clearly
at least half of those. At least half of those.
Better than 30 of them.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And you know what's really insane to me is not only that, but what the quarterbacking is so watered down. One of my contentions about this baby in the offense in the NFL is they can't afford to have any of the premier feature quarterbacks. If Breeze goes down, if Brady goes down, if Rodgers goes down, and you have to go one more deep into that pile of shit called the backup quarterbacks, can you imagine what you're going to get?
Well, you get a more.
One thing maybe we got to do. The Cowboys have got to invest some money next season into a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
If they've learned nothing from this season, is that you better be prepared from the.
Now, believe it or not,
but they don't even have competition for the quarterback position. They haven't for 12 years. Never. Not even once.
Well, I mean, I think, and I'm going to say this.
Dak was an accident.
I'm going to tell you this right here. Yeah, he was an accident. You're exactly right, because he was brought in to be a career backup. That's why they took him in the fifth round. Right. Accidentally successful.
As a backup, it would have been perfect, right?
Yeah, right.
No one would have expected him to.
Right.
It wouldn't matter if you missed him because you wouldn't have thrown it.
But here's the deal. I also feel like that two things are going on. Knowing a little bit about the position, I don't think that we are living in a time that quarterbacks are developing because of the dual threat, because of the wide open. And then when you tighten that thing down to the NFL, when you're coming out of majority of college football, what's required of an NFL quarterback, or how many collegiate programs would you say, Cox, really prepare a quarterback for the NFL?
Probably less than 15.
Yeah. Probably. That's why you got a problem. You're not developing them. We are, for one, I'm gonna go way out. I'm gonna show my basketball stuff. There are no point guards. Nobody wants to play point guard. Nobody's teaching anybody how to play point guard.
Everybody wants to play the two.
Yeah.
I want to shoot. I want to shoot.
That the game has changed so much. You know, in college football, it used to be like linebacker you. You know what I mean? Wide receiver you. You wanted a cornerback. You're going to go to LSU. You're going to go to Alabama.
Right. Texas was famous for DBU. Right.
Texas, if you're going to be a defensive back, you're going to be a DN. Maybe go to A&M. Wide receivers were at Tech. in that quick offense.
That's right.
But it's not like that. And what has changed the game is the speed.
Coach,
the speed of the game.
The game is a victim of it. The game is a victim of its own talent level.
The game is a victim of its own talent, and the speed is so fast.
Yep.
It's like playing 7-on-7 almost. It's almost 7-on-7-ish. You know?
Yeah.
Like a video game.
I mean, think about it right now. No, look at these three gentlemen who are going for the Heisman this week.
Yep.
Look at these three gentlemen who are going for the Heisman this week. Right now, you've got Carson Wentz, you've got Jared Goff, you've got Trzynski, you've got these three guys who were considered the guys, and Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
All three of these guys now have won more than all of those guys in college.
There's no doubt about it. You can look and pick your way around all through there. The Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, how good was he? Now it gets back into some college football stuff, and we're going to come back and talk about, how hot are the Texans? Are they Super Bowl hot? Why or why not? We're right here on the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. We've got one more segment of football with Commissioner Cox. He's going to give us a little piece, about 5 minutes of his opinion of that. And then we're going to dive off into this Texas collegiate basketball, which Cox is welcome. He's a very Commissioner Cox is versatile now. You got to realize he helped lead the Kimball Knights to multiple state championships and trips down to San Antonio and Austin, Texas. Right here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network, giving it to you just like it is. This particular segment was brought to you by Fast Small Sports. Fast Small Sports is leading basketball into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. Back in 180 seconds with more of the Lone Star Sports Show. All things sports, all things Texas. Here we are right here back here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. We know they're hot. How hot are the Texans? All things sports, all things Texas. Today's show is brought to you by FastBallSports.com. We got Commissioner Cox. You know, Commissioner Cox, the thing about when you're in Texas, great state like Texas, you got a lot of reach. We got great highways here. Interstate 45, 2 or 3 phone calls, you sitting right down there in Harris County, and you looking at another great piece of real estate in the state of Texas, down where Bill O'Brien and Deshaun are leading the Houston, Texas, into the deal. They got J.J. Redick right there, big-time leader in the middle of the whole process. You know, Cowboys are so controversial. We're sitting here in Dallas. We apologize to the 777, the 77 area code, zip code people down south of us right here in the Bayou City. Y'all getting it done. We're getting it done down there. It's still Texas. You know, Lone Star Sports Show. Why not Super Bowl?
They're going down there and they're doing the job.
Yeah.
Without a bunch of excuses, without a bunch of whining and complaining.
Yeah. And they lost some games that they probably shouldn't have lost this year, and they are still sitting at 9-3. So what does that
Absolutely.
Hey, can I answer me a question? Who owns the Houston Texans? Does anyone even know?
Bob Lanier.
Bob Lanier.
Okay,
just passed away.
But, I mean, I guess that's my sarcastic way of saying because he doesn't jump up in front of a microphone every time something happens.
Okay, now let me tell you something. I lived there. Bob Lanier, bless him in his grave. I didn't actually realize he had passed away. It kind of slipped by me a little bit. I do know it now that you were talking about it. But Bob Lanier was not a walk in the park type guy too either. He just wasn't flamboyant about the attention. At the same time, he ruled with a big stick.
And I wouldn't imply that because I think a lot of owners do. But I'm talking about the narcissistic, hey, look at me, I'm holding court in the tunnel again, so please, throw microphones in my face. He's the only owner in the league that does that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, y'all get it. Jerry, okay, that is who Jerry is, and it is what it is. Okay, let me ask you this question. Here's the great Governor's Cup question right here. During the regular season, it only happens, I think, every 4 years. Texans beat the Cowboys 19-16. How big was that game? In overtime. How good are the Cowboys? We saying they're hot now. I think sometimes we're just overly hard because the Cowboys aren't. I mean, how dominant were they with Troy Aikman and Mike Irvin and what you were getting then? Because we're not getting that, and we're not in the same NFL with the dynasty type situation, then we feel like everything is just bad. I mean, is that what it is, Cox? I mean, speak up. Cox getting a little quiet on me there. Probably, I think he conjuring up something right there. But I mean, there's a game right there. I mean, I was just looking down.
No, I mean, the thing is this. No, we're not quiet. The problem is that there is an expectation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there he is. And then you got the Texans losing to the Patriots, a game they should have won.
The bottom line, though, is we haven't won anything. We haven't played in the postseason.
What if the Texans won?
We haven't played in the postseason.
Yeah, but if that's your bar, hold on. On one hand, we're held to the 3-ring Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin bar, but then on the other hand, we're only held to the bar of beat the Texans.
No, I mean, it's going to always come down to a Houston Texans thing, but we're saying that Texans are a hot team. I mean, I totally agree. They're extremely hot.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in this set, on this phone, anywhere, listen to whatever, would be surprised if the Texans end up in the Super Bowl. Yes or no?
No, not at all. Well, buy, sell, hold. What do you guys say? Let's buy, sell, or hold on the Cowboys and the Texans. I'm buying the Texans, and I'm probably holding on the Cowboys. I'm not going to say sell, but I'll hold. I'm not ready to buy.
They're both are playoff teams, and if you're consistently a playoff team, you're in the.
They're not consistently a playoff team.
They're
a playoff
when
team
you talk
this year.
about buy, sell, you got to go to those components. Okay.
Okay.
We start at the head coach. I'm going to give it to O'Brien.
I'm not crazy about O'Brien.
I'll buy or hold on him, and I'm definitely selling Garrett.
And then you got to go to defenses. I think they wash each other out.
I'll buy Marinelli. I like him.
But they wash each other out because you got J.J. Watt and Clowney.
They cancel. You're right. They cancel each other out.
They cancel each other out now. So special teams, that's going to be Texans.
Probably.
And now I got to go to offense.
Better receiving core Texans.
And I got to give it to Texans. So
if they played again, what would the score be? Because those are both two different teams. 12 games ago, they were both different teams. So they both, morphed into what they are now. What would they do next weekend, do you think? What would happen?
Yeah, there's not a team that we've beat, that we've come close to I want to see again. I don't want to see the Saints again.
Well, the Saints won the Super Bowl. That the year they won the Super Bowl, the Cowboys beat them. And it was funny. I was driving Uber last week, and I picked up a New Orleans guy. He had that real Cajun accent, so we started talking. He said, "Oh, I'm pissed off. We lost the Cowboys." I said, "Yeah, you might win the Super Bowl because of it. Because I'm a big believer. Sometimes you need to lose once in a while to kind
I think so too.
To readjust. You don't need. Well, 17-0. Look what Belichick got when he was 17-0. Didn't get no damn ring.
No,
That's a great point.
And that was one of the biggest things that I think that the Kansas City Chief Andy Reid was sort of woosawed that he got that off of him a little bit. I'm not really sure if the gentleman at the Rams appreciated enough. I don't think he values losing a game and rebuilding enough, but he needed to lose one too.
Yeah, you don't want to be Ando going to the playoffs because then all of a sudden they're bringing out the microphones and talking to Paul Warfield and Nick Bonacani and all this crap from
the old jinx of the 14.
But here we go. Here we go
Right.
again. They're going to every year the old farts celebrate when somebody loses. They lose a game.
They get their bottle of champagne over and get them a ringside seat. They let them down on the field with champagne.
Yeah, every year they do that. They celebrate when any undefeated team finally loses.
They were my guys. They had Mercury Morris, Larry Zunker, Bob Gracie, Nick Bonacani, Larry Little, Jay Scott was a free safety. I mean, I was all the way.
I was only 9 years old. I used to like him too.
We were all well. We were
all the same age. But
see,
that was awesome.
Cox remembers this. We had the electric football sets.
Yeah, I had that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had the Cowboys. I used to put the little metal washers, metal nuts on my. On Larry Little, make Larry Little just hold the line.
You know what I did? I used to put nickels underneath the thing so I could raise it up so my guys were going downhill. That's pretty smart, huh? It was a gravity. I won.
Hey, those guys earned it. That was big time real football. You had Larry Zunker.
Think how many years that's been.
Mercury Morris.
46 seasons ago.
Wow. Yeah, we were little boys.
Yeah. We were all 9 years old.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the whole deal. Cox was 7.
But anyway, I think sometimes you got to lose to win.
You have to lose it. I mean, you see they just made the deal here. The Cowboys again. Sean Lee starts Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Work Sean Lee back in the rotation.
Yeah.
Sean Lee back. Working back in the rotation. Don't just Sean you start.
Hey, I've got a thought for you guys. What do you think about the idea of Jerry hiring Cliff Kingsbury for his OC? He's gonna be hot.
Kingsbury just signed with. He just signed with USC.
Oh, did he?
As the offensive coordinator.
I can't blame him. Living in Los Angeles, making $500,000, maybe $1 million.
Yeah, they probably not gonna make $1 million. They probably make 6, 7, well, more than 500. And it all comes down to it. I think that right now, when you just look at it, NFL, Texas, we're in a really good solid place.
Oh yeah.
In a really, really good solid.
You got one team
that's
for
the
sure, and the other
closeout.
team
We get ready. We're gonna let Cox go. Cox, I don't know if you want.
Hey guys, thank y'all, man.
Yeah.
No, y'all take care, man. We'll talk to y'all next week, folks.
All right, Cox.
Okay,
bud.
sounds good.
Yep.
I mean, we're in a great place. The boss man goes home early on this one right here. We can't let the boss man outwork you. So we got him going on. Get ready, ease off into college basketball and taking a good look at it. Tonight we're going to look at just all the way across the board. SEC. I mean, this is how great the state of Texas is, or how big it is. I don't know. We're not always great, I guess. We like to believe we're great.
Yeah, we're a little full of ourselves at times.
But one thing you can't say is we're big. You can't take that away from us.
No.
You can't shrink the borders down. You can't make us any smaller.
We had to do this one time, but I heard real quick that there's a story that if you take the state of Texas and you flip it off its east edge, it goes almost to the Atlantic. If you flip it off its west edge, it goes.
No, I know it doesn't do that. Well, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, but close.
No, I'm going to tell you exactly why it potentially. No, it doesn't do that because from top to bottom is 16 hours. No, top to bottom is 14 hours.
East it was like 23, right? East to west?
No, it's not that long. It's not that far. It's roughly 12 this away and it's about 14 by 14 hours.
But if you
get in the middle of it, you're only flipping 7 hours.
But I'm saying if you rotate it off that edge, not the middle.
Oh, if you roll off the edge,
all the way off the edge, all the way. I mean,
it takes you to the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. Almost to Canada, almost to Cali, into Mexico. I mean, it's amazing.
Cali is the part where it falls real short.
Right. Yeah, but it just blew me away because I grew up in Illinois. I mean, we drive around. If I drive for 5 hours, I can go to 3 states.
Right. Yeah. You can drive 5 hours. You might not go to 3 counties.
There's not around here.
I'm exaggerating the old Texas way of doing it.
But you can drive for quite a while. You can drive 24 hours, I believe.
No, you have the ability to drive for 40. You can drive all day from sun up to sundown, east or west, and never leave the state from one end to the other. And that's the interesting thing about it. But the great thing is we have the SEC representative, we have a Big 12, we have the American League, we have Conference USA, we have the Sun Belt, we have the WAC, we have the Southland, and we have the SWAC. Eight Division I leagues. We had 23 Division I schools, and we led. We boast for many years. California just surpassed us by adding on one more, and they've gone from actually added on two more, so they've gone from 22 to 24.
But that might come backwards. Remember that deal where they talked about they had a law out there that said that they may not be able to. There was a situation. The California Attorney General said they might not be able to be part of the NCAA because of the.
Oh man!
Remember that? You know what I'm
no,
talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the
legal-
whole bathroom thing and the Lady Life can help us with our fancy political acronyms.
Do you remember what the situation was in
TGAB.
California? The California situation, there was the Attorney General out there said we may have to decertify all our teams and take them out of the NCAA because we can't abide by. Was it a Title IX aspect or something that happened?
No, it's a bathroom accident, what they call a bathroom thing. Because the reason I know is because the state schools couldn't come to the state of Texas and recruit. They had to buy everything. That's credit card had to be swiped before they came in. It was about, we just talked about it the other night.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to be insensitive by any stretch of the imagination of knowing the exact acronym, but it has something to do with the homosexual, bisexual, it's a T.
LGBTYT.
Yeah, lesbian, there you go. LB, there you go, exactly. Right.
Is that right? Did I hit that right or not? LG.
Yeah, you got it, Oscar. Don't try to
I'm trying.
They know our hearts in the right
better than
place.
you, man. There's no
yeah,
hard
you way
feelings,
closer than me. I was starting out with a T. It's actually L, led off with the lesbian thing. But hey, we don't mean, that's the whole deal. But, that was a part of why that was a controversial about they were going to proceed through the process and not allow to be break away from
I'll
it.
never forget when those idiots passed that law, and I said, all that's going to do is cost us Super Bowls and Final Fours. That's all. And Starbucks made it real simple. If you don't put men and women on each door, if you just put bathroom on the door, then it doesn't make any freaking difference, you idiot. Greg Abbott, you friggin' idiot.
We're right here at the Lone Star Sports Show. We're going to come back and hit all these 23 Division I schools and start giving you some ideas on these next few segments. My main man, Under Your Money, is going to be departing early as we close everything out and get where we need to be and get over to the hot game tonight. Game of the week.
Sock.
No, Dengayu and Lancaster.
Lancaster and South Garland.
Lancaster, South Garland. I'm sorry, not
okay.
Dengayu. Real interesting matchup, and I'm going to go over and take a good look at that, and I'm going to close out. Are you taking off to go to basketball tonight?
I might.
Where you got to go to?
I might go over and watch Kimball. Was it
Kimball plays Duncanville.
Kimball plays Duncanville at Dunk, right?
What time is that game?
Now.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
All right, end the show.
Let's get the hell out of here. This is stupid.
Okay, it's getting a little tricky now around here. Boy, y'all been,
This is just what you do when there's not a game to go to, you loser. Come on, man.
We might have to get ready to have speed. I didn't know the Kimple Duncanville thing.
That's right down the street. You can't not be there.
That's a huge Oak Cliff rivalry type.
Hey, look, you already said we can't fit it all in anyway, so let's just chop and go.
Yeah. All right, we're going to chop and go. We're going to talk about the feast and the famine. Back in 120 seconds here on the Lone Star Sports Show. All things sports, all things Texas. This particular segment is brought to you by Harlem Hotels. Go take a look at HarlemHotels.com. See how you can put your money where you sleep. My main man, Tom Inman, Lady Life. The Prince, Under Your Money, keeping us where we need to be in basketball world. And yours truly, Alan Branch. Back in 120 seconds.
More like 60 seconds.
Hey, here we are back at the Lone Star Sports Show. We just flipped a coin. And according to the coin and the official toss here, the Lone Star Sports Show is getting ready to go on the road for more research. We're getting ready to watch high school.
I may have had the worst coin flip of all time.
Yeah, he may have had the worst coin.
That was kind of an overcooked pasta move.
The Prince almost messed that one up. But right here, we're looking at right here, Texas college basketball, what's going on, 23 Division I schools. We're not going to try to cover. Right now, it's a very interesting situation out in the on the hilltop at in Highland Park, Texas. You know, will they get it all lined up and going in the right direction? We think we're going to be making it out to go watch them play TCU tomorrow, which is another local area team that is somewhat in a I like to say challenge mode. Lost to Lipscomb came through Texas and beat both SMU and TCU off of one plane ticket and one bus ride.
And took home how much money?
Took home pretty close to $200,000. Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Bradley came down and beat SMU. Southern Miss, Doc Sadler, shout out to my old buddy. They're coming down and getting a great win. Do they get it all back in line and go in the right direction? I thought it was interesting what the Prince said. Just don't quite know what you get. You got the University of Texas at Austin with Shaka Smart losing to a solid Radford program there, but then turn around and beat North Carolina, where there's a little question mark of what's going on down there right now. But I think it kind of goes back to some of the same things we've been talking about with college football, NFL football, all the things we talk about. If you're not just like freaked out beating everybody, then, you know, and I know this for a fact in basketball, we've got 8 million boys between the ages of 9 and 18 playing organized basketball.
Okay.
You're going to get better players. Cox said it best. Cox and I were just talking this morning, just, you know, casual friend-to-friend talk, and Wilt Chamberlain was like a crazy freak. Now we got like 3 or 4 dudes running around in college basketball that are like Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, Andre Ayton reminds me a lot of a Chamberlain.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Bobo you just saw over there.
Bobo's nice. Yeah.
7'2". Then you got Big Taco down at Central Florida.
Right.
There's not even at a Power 5 school that's in a situation like that. We just had Bamba to leave out. So what used to be, there's more parity in the human race now. I grew up with a kid. Came along, a guy named Carl Wright. You probably knew his son.
Yeah, I know Carl. I know Carl and Bracey.
Bracey. Well, you know Bracey, right?
Yeah. I didn't know Carl, but I know of Carl.
You know of him.
Bracey
But you know the left
well.
legend, when you walked in, you heard it was potentially one of the best basketball players.
Oh, monster.
Right. That's a lot. The athleticism, we see freak athletes all the time. Now, a lot of times they can't play. Carl could play.
Right.
But my point is that it comes down to the population that's on the face of the earth. There's just so many 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" kids walking around. Now, a lot of them can't play. And that's not a lot of it's not all the kids' fault.
Right.
Has a lot
They're
to do
expected to be a basketball player because they're tall.
Yeah, you know, and there's a lot of the adults don't hold them accountable because they are tall or they are talented. You know, it's kind of like the gift and the curse all at the same time. You're born with this. So what are you getting at, Branch? My point is that there's so many different ways to get talent that there's going to be more parity. Everybody is not, born exclusive anymore.
Well, Nick Saban made, I know I'm jumping to football here real quick, but Nick Saban made a comment basically about, what, are we not beating people bad enough? How much blood do you need to see? Winning is still just winning, right? Winning is supposed to be enough.
Right.
And with the parity you're talking about, you should expect people to blow people out.
And he's one of the unique situations. Nobody else in sports can say they're doing what Nick Saban's doing right now. NFL, NBA, college basketball,
but he's a victim of his
baseball.
own success. He sets the bar so high, ultimately, at one point in time, you choke on your own bar.
Yeah, and it's the whole deal. So, I mean, it's hard to live up to, but that's the point of what I'm saying is everybody wants to lose their mind. And I live in the world of college basketball where, oh, man, what's up with your boys over there, man? They lost to Bradley. Man, they lost to Lipscomb. They lost to Radford. Everybody's running around talking about where everybody lost. 2 and who they beat.
It's all a bunch of crabs in a bucket. They're always pulling the crab back down in the bucket.
Yeah,
You know that.
I hate to say that, but
you know it's true.
It's true. It's true. I mean, it's kind of like it keeps the ball kind of limited. Well, it's kind of like the 2 little kids. He did it too.
Yeah. Well, I'm screwing up, but he's screwing up worse.
Right.
You know? I keep my job. He sucks worse. He needs to get fired first.
Right.
They're really petty and trivial, frankly.
Yeah. You restore it out there. I want a real shout out. I don't know if Arnie got the tweet out or not. Out to the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley at 6-4, second-year coach, my man Lou Hill, turning the program around. Takes a Leslie Varner, who nobody in the area thought he could play basketball. I remember telling this kid's parents, I got to dig up somewhere. I have a picture, and you can see it right here, from one shoulder blade to the other shoulder blade. When this kid got to high school, it was about this wide, Coach. I could almost take my hand and put it on both his shoulders at the same time. He looked,
tiny.
Yeah, and now this kid is a double guy in the WAC.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, and I was always skilled, crazy hard worker, lifted, ate, kept on doing it. And now I guess, what is Leslie, like a 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", small forward, probably at about, still not that big, probably about 190, 195. Still thin, but from where he came from, but a productive Division I player that did it the old-fashioned way. He just worked.
Kept getting better. Hey, I want to say hello to Luke McKay. If
Luke
you're
McKay
watching
down
or
on
tweet, either way, Luke's a great guy.
He is. They have a great staff there. You know,
they really do.
My main man came down from Oregon.
Oklahoma.
Lou came from. Lou is old Texas guy. He doesn't. He's a New York guy, but he's been in Texas all the way back to going and playing and win a national championship at San Jac.
Right.
With coach down there. So Lou has been a Texas guy. He recruited Texas, very successful, going to a Final Four at the University of Oklahoma, and then coming down and taking this program from a 1 or 2 win type situation. He just improving. He's already up to 6 wins. He's 6-4 right now at this stage of the season.
It'll give him a chance to get one of those SMU or TCU jobs. I'm not trying to hover over the carcass of people who are still employed. But come on, let's be honest. You're hired to get fired. Everyone's going to get fired or retire at some point in time.
You're going to get another job whether you do good or you don't do bad.
One way or the other, right. You're going to leave on your terms, you're going to leave on their terms, but you're going to leave.
Stephen F. Austin is rolling right there at a 5-2, playing a good, solid situation. I told you, UNT underrated with the success that they have. And they've only lost to Oklahoma, and they're 8-1 right now. So we want to really reach out to that program. And my guy over there, and start going brain dead all over.
Grant, first name Mick something. He's a Grant
McCastle. Grant McCastle. I was thinking Ross Comerford, who was another good long-term friend, associate head coach there. But anyway, the Screaming Eagles are rolling at 8-1 right there, doing really well. Have a guard that I just love, Emoja Gibson, who I was high on all the way through the deal, who's averaging probably in high 16, 17 points, broke his leg as a freshman, didn't play with a medical red shirt, came back this year.
Where did he go to high school?
High school at Waco High.
Okay.
Waco High. Played for Tony Johnson, Dallas Mustangs. Tony Johnson always said he was a high major player. I thought he was a mid-plus player, so Tony, I'm not sure who was right, but the kid is doing really, really well.
I vote Tony.
Yeah. He wants to get in the tournament free. That's what the whole deal is. Texas State is the one that slipped by me at 7-1 with some really good, solid wins, all the way through the process. I think two of the bigger struggles right now, obviously with SMU, TCU. UTA had a very interesting deal. I was visiting with that group, and I think you always got to point things out to the kids, because as long as you can keep the kids. I was there with T. Harvey when he would play those 9, 10, 11 Power 5 games in the preseason and make right at $1 million in guaranteed games. And how do you keep the guys together in all that losing? You got to show them the margins. UTA has played 8 games. This is what I called out to their attention. You played 8 games, and 3 or 4 of them were against Power 5 schools, playing a Power 5 school tonight. And out of all your games, you won 3 out of 8, and you lost 5. Out of all your games, all 8 of your games, with 3 to 4 minutes to go in the deal, it was a 1-possession game. So you got to stop and say, what the hell's going on after that last TV timeout? A lot of things are going on, obviously, not winning.
but it's a fraction.
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3% of the possessions that ultimately decide the game.
Yeah,
which is like we talked about earlier.
Football, the whole situation.
It cancels
They're trying to
ourselves.
wave us out of here, and we, And we hit a few other things. We sit there. A&M has struggled with injuries. The biggest shout goes out to we only have one undefeated team right now in the state of Texas. Who do y'all think it is? No looking at the paper. No cheating. I didn't pass the test. You got to go back to the third grade.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
That's how they want to.
Let me help you, honey. The only undefeated team in Texas, young man.
Could we
Pressure's on.
Don't let him Google.
I'm not gonna Google. How many seconds I get?
5.
You already used up 3 of those.
3,
2,
1.
I don't know.
Texas Tech Red Raiders, led by Coach Beard. Out there.
I should have known that.
Yeah, there's situations. So, I mean, there are guys that's leading it down the stretch. I got a chance to visit with Billy Kennedy at 3 and 4. Kind of hearing that Amon Gilder probably won't play this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, season-ending injury and situation there. I thought it was something else.
By the way, speaking of Chris Beard Beard is Buzz Williams 2.0. You like it? His players come out tough. There's a toughness they have. There's a similarity, real strong similarity. There's a grit to them.
Yeah, I mean, I know both of them very, very well, I guess. I mean,
but the way their players turn out, wait and see.
Yep.
Beard's players are a lot like Buzz's.
Yep. No, there's some truth there. Baylor, really, trying to figure out what we're going to see. I'm going to probably go down and see the Baylor-Oregon game. University of Houston, got dropped off the list here or some whatever, and then get included and then get looked up. But is actually playing extremely well right now with only 1 loss, I think. No, 2 losses. All right. Went out and won a big Brigham Young game. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was.
Yeah. So Coach has got 1 foot out the door and 1 foot still in the studio. That's what's going on with Honey.
And you're blaming him for what?
Yeah. That's the whole deal. We're breaking the thing down. UTEP, one of my good buddies and, actual friend in the business, a lot of a struggle out there at UTEP. But
they have a lot of guys that are
sitting out.
Yeah.
They'll be eligible, and they'll just make that magical transformation. How did they get so much better so fast? And
better
we'll
players.
do that. We're probably going to go out as a staff and watch the TCU SMU game on tomorrow. 2 local people right here in the Metroplex. Then you got UNT and University of Texas at Arlington coming real soon. This coming Saturday about midday.
UTA plays who now? North Texas?
UNT.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That'd be a great game.
Yeah, so those are 2 games.
Where's that, in Denton or Arlington?
In Denton, and then we go SMU is for TCU is over there. Right, so it'll be an interesting outing. Prairie View is another group that is 1-7, but
had some close losses.
Has a lot of close losses in those situations. So sometimes we look and we say, okay, you go into league play and the team is 2-9 or 3-10 or something like that right there, and then they go down and they end up. So this is one thing I was pointing out. I guess I should say, because I don't expose too much. One of my good buddies. A lot of people like to look at Chris Beard and the magical run that he had over in Arkansas, and he ends up with the Texas Tech job.
Right.
They don't stop to realize during this point of the season he was struggling. He caught fire towards the end and went to the tournament and made a run.
Well, it's not fair. The very essence of the money games tells you why it's easy to be 12-1 if you buy enough wins, and why you're 2-11.
You get paid for enough losses.
Well, I mean, they're 1-7 because they've got to go on the road and get their asses kicked because someone's got to finance all the other sports.
I got one for this is one we're gonna go out on. Texas Southern has beat 2 Power 5 schools.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd they beat?
They beat Oregon and Baylor.
Is Scott Drew out wearing his welcome? He should have gone. I think he should have gone somewhere else. Because when he was hot, you'd think he would have taken a better job.
Yeah, it goes around.
Kind of cycles.
Yeah, it cycles. I mean, you look at situations. I mean, you're just looking for the right situation. It's whole deal. And as long as there's enough crazy stuff going on in football, basketball coach have to worry a little bit.
Oh, no. Two of the best basketball jobs in the country are Florida and Ohio State. Fly under the radar. Right. No one cares what you do.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't embarrass the university too much.
I meant basketball-wise.
We're at the Lone Star Sports Show. We are jumping out, headed out to basketball tonight. We're getting ready to go and follow us at TX Boys Basketball, at 5 State Hoop Report, at Ani_Umani on Twitter to find out more of what's going on if you want to follow the reports of what's going on in high school basketball. We're actually going to watch Duncanville and Kimball, and we're going to watch Lancaster and South Garland. Those are 2 games we'll be covering tonight. We'll be back on Thursday with more Lone Star Sports Show basketball Thursday. We're going to dive in. I think the Mavericks are going in a great direction. Back on Thursday with more Lone Star Sports Show. Get ready for Hump Day. Go get something done tomorrow. Get your good night's rest. We out.